If you were to observe this guitar's elegant headstock at the crest of its satin roasted maple neck, ornamented with locking tuners and a bone nut, fastened to a body topped in a flame maple ocean blue finish, loaded with a Wilkinson M-Series floating bridge, an HSS pickup configuration, and a comfortable contoured neck heel, you may be forgiven for thinking that this Jet JS-450 would cost more than the €339 RRP. That was certainly my impression the first time I saw one of these hanging on the wall of a guitar shop. There seemed to be quite a disconnect between the features I was seeing and the price tag, especially considering this looked so similar to the much more expensive guitars that surrounded it. Despite this being an S-type body plan, this Jet 450 has much more in common with the likes of a Suhr or an Ibanez AZ than it does a traditional Stratocaster. This looks and feels much more modern and high performance, an impression that's only strengthened once you start to play it. This Jet represents a rare case for me, where an instrument sent in for demo and review gets played so much I wear out the strings. I've been playing this extensively, not just for work, but also for fun. The HSS Performance Strat blueprint is by far the most versatile guitar you can have, making this a very easy one to pick up when I want to play a song, regardless of genre. And the fact that it stays in tune thanks to a well-cut nut, excellent quality Wilkinson trem, and the locking tuners eliminates the frustration that puts me off picking up some other guitars. While the satin finished neck and body contouring make rocking out on this effortless. It's almost like I'm playing nothing at all. Now, as is well documented, blue is not my favourite colour, but the flame maple top gives this a sort of washed out denim look which I can totally get behind, and that white perloid pickguard really complements the look. I know that mother of toilet seat is a divisive aesthetic, but I'm on the love side of that love-hate equation. Coming back to that Wilkinson bridge, it's set up for floating action out of the box, giving us plenty of back pull for raising the pitch, as well as dive bombing. With the light gauge strings and what I assume are pretty low tension springs in the cavity, this bridge has a delightfully smooth action, dipping the pitch evenly and allowing for some flicks and flutters. The trade-off for all those fancy tricks, of course, is that unison bends are out of the question, but that's the sort of sacrifice one makes when opting for a wiggle stick over a hard-tailed instrument. There is a tendency for the springs in the back cavity to give a sharp chink sound after hard percussive playing, which can be heard through the amp particularly on high gain settings, but that's nothing some foam in the spring cavity wouldn't mute out. I did have to lower the height of the two posts slightly to bring the string action down to somewhere that was comfortable to play, remembering also to lower the height of the pickups to compensate for the new string position. With there being so many high quality features to the build and hardware, it appears that the pickups were the place where money was saved to keep the price tag attractive. These are all generic ceramic pickups, which is often a tale of inexpensive guitars. The bridge humbucker is far and away the best of the bunch, allowing for a thick, powerful signal which plays well with distorted rock amplifiers, while retaining plenty of clarity and articulation. The single coils fare a little worse, sounding thin and harsh with distortion, but some really excellent sounds can be achieved when using them with a touch of compression into a clean amplifier. It's certainly possible to get some great sounds out of this set, but the single coils particularly lack that sweet, spanky character you get from a decent set of Alnico single coils. As the pickups are often the first upgrade players make to these fairly inexpensive guitars, it may have been solid logic for Jet to spend the money instead on the construction, finish and hardware to yield a blindingly good playing experience. Leaving the pickups as basic but functional might have been the best choice if the assumption is they'll be quickly replaced anyway. Of course, that's all personal preference. You may find that these pickups are perfectly adequate for making the sounds you want to make, and there's certainly nothing about these I couldn't work around. But as I am a spoiled internet guitarist with a taste for my own hand-wound pickups, if I were to make this my daily player, I'd certainly be very quick in upgrading these to something a little nicer. I do want to push back towards the positive in reiterating that I connected with this guitar in a way I typically don't for instruments of this price point. It may not have the deluxe feel of a super expensive instrument, but there's nothing about its relatively low price tag that makes it restrictive or distracting in any way. It plays super well, stays in tune, and doesn't impede anything I want to achieve. And furthermore, it's fun. The main competition to this JS-450 would probably be Harley Benton's Fusion line, which offers much of the same features at similar prices, and the choice there may ultimately come down to looks. Jet, in my opinion, are doing some very classy finishes and configurations, both vintage inspired and things that are a little more modern. I'm particularly taken by their distressed 800 series hardtail HS Strat, a higher end model which I'd be very interested in checking out given how much I've enjoyed playing the 450. But you want to hear some sound examples of this guitar. Well, I've got some clean tones from the Tone King Imperial paired with the hypergravity compressor, some thick rock crunch from the orange OR30 and a touch of Blues Driver, and some heavy metal mayhem with the classic Victory Kraken Tube Screamer combination. If any of this has convinced you to give Jet a closer look, then you'll find links to their website in the video description, and you might even find them hanging on walls in your local guitar shop. That's where I first saw these guitars. Oh, and don't forget to click all the buttons you're supposed to make this video viable to the ever-changing whims of the YouTube algorithm. That's all for now. Keep it loud, and stay safe. It's blue!